In 2008, the sun rose in a high semicircle window in my family home in Atlanta, Georgia. My mother, a short-time resident of Golders Green, had taken to making 4 cups of English breakfast tea for the two of us and serving them throughout the day. Today, I would take my cup of tea in front of the TV. In 2022, I let it slip. In order to calm my nerves, I had taken to making 4 glasses of a cocktail I like to call Avsha's Special. The days were becoming particularly laborious as I was tapped to assist in driving a Sprinter van that would mark my first time driving a vehicle of that size and such an excess of passengers. This, coupled with stage performances of immense scale and visibility, would magnify how little control I had over my environment. GT's Ginger Kombucha, a green room request at every venue, and a generous pouring of whatever tequila the Montreal venue could source summoned in me the strength of many, many dragons. Whatever damage the tequila would cause, whichever tests my friendships were made to endure as a result of a nasty hangover, was immediately counteracted 20-fold by the universal heal-all elements of the God Elixir Kombucha. My family couch was a zebra print Lawson arm sofa sat 5 feet from a Samsung television. Now reminiscing on the layout of what my family called the playroom, there was a vague African influence to the furniture and posters. I wonder now if the same architect that designed the layout of all the nearby neighborhoods of Sandy Springs had a special connection to Africa and decided that his homes would not be complete without the proper adornments, or perhaps it's a special connection that ran deep within interior decorators and mothers in the 2000s. Either way, on the TV sat the pause screen of a second-hand copy of The Simpsons' Hit and Run. Down the stairs, my father was announcing there was to be a lifestyle change. As the adage goes, in Montreal, your life can change. Though I believe that it was up to the individual to bring about the change. Montreal is a truly beautiful city, with bustling nightlife and a very old club and some very good pasta. A month and a week had passed since first leaving for the tour, and in hopes of maintaining some form of physical composure and a semblance of friendship with everyone whom I had been in non-stop contact with for many weeks, I decided that after I would complete the drive to the venue, I would double the Avsha Special, as long as there were cups big enough to do so. I weaved through the weekend traffic of a bustling city. I imagined that perhaps I had to deliver Homer to my son at his school, he was flunking his A's, as a flurry of bilingual clubbing enthusiasts shouted to their friends on the street, their beautifully alive voices gently making their way into the car. I arrived at the venue, sound-checked, and began what would be a night of hard work. Diligently regimented is what I hoped those would call me as I began my night of doubled Avsha Specials. Finally, as the set time was within 5 minutes, I finished my final pre-show drink. Bloated and full of liquid, I ran onto stage. At this point in my career, I believed that retaining my urine was some kind of show ritual, and it was necessary if I hoped to give a great performance. So with how much urine I was retaining, I was sure to give a performance only comparable to Freddie Mercury's at Live Aid or the Beatles on the Ed Sullivan Show. It was 2008, and whatever money we had would not last long. I knew this was the lifestyle change my father was talking about. I looked at the small wooden table in front of me, supporting an empty teacup and EB Games box, and I thought to myself, we must have enough to survive if we have enough for tea and a video game. Though in my mind, I knew that my grandmother had bought me a video game. This seemed to be a straw, though the final I was not sure. I decided that it would not impact me. I would be strong. I would exhale and release. Bart Simpson did not need the homework that I, as Homer's playable character, was supposed to bring. The excited, screaming crowd of Montrealians did not need a pissless performance from me. I am just a man, so I decided to exhale and release. I pissed myself in my home. I pissed myself in a different country. I think they shouted at me in French, but I pretended not to hear.